believe it a little bit, then yeah, that's going to attract that.
Well, what Greg Redden says, it's all in the feeling. The prayer isn't in what you say; it's the feeling behind it, right? And that's why intent can be so misunderstood. You can intend all day long and be saying, affirming to yourself, "I am wealthy, healthy, and wise." But if you don't feel it, it ain't gonna happen. You have to get the feeling instigated, and that's the part.
Which is why the heart is important.
Yeah, the heart is important for sure, but the real feelings come in the second chakra. It's the water element. Okay, and that's one of those things. That's one of those things that we were taught to not be touching. Oh, don't go to those feelings. Oh, your feelings are deadly and dangerous. You know, even in Buddhism, when I studied that, it had a really backwards kind of language because it even demonized some of these things. You know, in my perception of Buddhism, it was like you had to climb the ladder of the chakra system and then jump off, which is kind of stupid. Why did you come here to do that? So even in metaphysical terms, some of that is misunderstood. There's not one of these chakras is worse than the other. And if you realize that they're tied together, you're never going to have a powerful voice. I don't care what you intend and say all day long, unless your personal willpower is online. Okay? Your intuition doesn't start flowing until your sexuality and creativity has the freedom to do so. And you don't get really connected to God until you get really connected and inside yourself, right? You gotta, you can meditate and go someplace, but until you're really in yourself and owning the energy, because to me, the whole idea is not to go visit spirit somewhere. You know, a daily practice is great, but ultimately, to me, it would be that the daily practice has become your natural being. You know, practice meditation, that's cool, but until your life becomes meditation.
I have a question, John. Would you say then that it would be best to start from the bottom and work up?
No,
like
I
making
think
peace with each one?
I think each person needs to start where they are. Okay. So in other words, I err back onto what's really manifesting. So if you've got a pain, I mean, here's the thing, pain is it. Let me go down one bit here. This is the part we're going to be moving into. But since you're mentioning it, I'm going to go ahead and jump to it. We discussed this, but let me go back. Okay. Talked about this a little bit last time. Okay. All right, so this page here, page 53, you can imagine that this is an iceberg, if you will, okay? This little dome coming up, and that this line is water, okay? What's above the line is what you're conscious of. What's below the line is what you're unconscious, subconscious, submarine. It's what's under here that sinks our ships. But here's the cool thing, is what manifests outwardly, like the tip of the iceberg, is reflective of what's down inside. So if you have a particular pain that's in your face, that's your friend, because either pain or love are going to guide you into your healing. It'd be nice if it always be love, but pain, when people are waking up, is useful because not everybody pays attention to love, but people pay attention to pain. So we look at where someone's hurting, right? So a lot of what I'm sharing with you is to see the map, the code that is embedded in an issue, and then you follow that to the amendment that has totally taken the person out of divinity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So anybody, I don't care who, somebody just give me an example of a pain or something. It can be real or it can be just totally imagined.
Trigger finger.
Trigger finger. Okay. That's you picked a pretty complex one. There's a lot of information. Okay. Trigger finger.
You can read a lot into that one.
Yeah, you can. I mean, even when you simply cut your finger or something like that, it means a lot. So trigger finger, the index finger, right? Are we talking left or are we talking right?
Middle finger, right hand.
Oh, trigger finger. Got you. Where the finger gets stuck. Okay.
Where the finger gets stuck.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking pistol trigger finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dawn was talking that she got a new pistol today, so I guess my mind was there. Okay. So, all right, now, all right, so let's break it down. Is it left or right? I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, is that masculine or that feminine?
That's masculine.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little workup right here. Right, middle, finger. From these three words, we can write a whole story. Okay, right is masculine. Okay, already that's pretty in-depth information. Middle finger, and this is in your tapping information. It's called the pericardium. Okay. This is a sac that surrounds the heart. And so that's that. And it's also known as the emotional heart. And if you think about it, when you flip somebody off, that is highly charged emotion and sexuality in the pericardium, and that's no accident. That is absolutely zero accident in that, because the middle finger is the pericardium, which is also blood pressure, and all the muscles. Let me go take you up here a second. This is where the laminated reference pages make it so much easier here. Back to muscles. Okay. See the glutes? It says heart protector, sex. That is the pericardium. Okay. You
and
see these yes, and the muscles here of the inside of the leg are the heart protector too. So interestingly enough, it's the emotional heart, and the muscles that mostly relate to it are the muscles that abduct, which means opens the legs, or adducts, as in adding, brings them together. So there's a huge thing there, because ultimately we should never open our legs to something until that thing has proven its worth in our heart energy. Get back to where I was. So what I'm saying is the middle finger is the finger of highly charged emotional sexual energy, period. There's no accident. It's a true thing. And you got to be careful where you point that thing when you do it. So here we have masculine energy. So there's something related to the masculine, the pericardium, the emotional heart, trigger finger to me, just play with the words. What comes to me is pulling the trigger. Okay. It's like, there's something there about not being able to pull the trigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Or trying to stop pulling the trigger.
Well, a trigger finger prevents you from pulling a trigger because it locks. So that's just my read on it. And right. Here's the thing about consciousness is all of us could be working with someone with a very similar, working on the same person, and we'd all get something slightly different based on our perception. And each one of us, cool thing about consciousness, would be right. So, we'd be getting some aspect. Yeah. So anybody else, what does that kind of put together for you? Masculinity, highly charged emotional heart energy, not being able to pull the trigger.
Well, it's interesting to me the way you just connected all those muscles with the pericardium. That's every place that I have been suffering with this whole year, with my hip and my knee and my inner thighs. I've been strengthening my inner thighs because my hips kept coming out of joint.
Right.
And so yeah, this is like a huge aha for me.
Okay, so
it's almost like that impotence that we were talking about. That almost like an impotence, an inability to pull, if it's stuck, there's a it's like the patch from the cholesterol. Something is trying to help you heal, and yet you're not getting the flow all the way through.
Right, and it's also, I mean, a lot of time pain is just trying to get your attention. So did I ask this? What joint is it?
It's down right at the bottom where the hands and the fingers connect. I don't.
Okay. Yeah. So, and what's interesting is trigger finger.
I'm a body worker. I don't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
We've probably all forgotten the name of it.
So,
Except for John.
I don't know if y'all remember or not, but you know, because a trigger finger can happen on any joint. But here's the thing to look. So I want you to hold your right hand out in front of you. You're looking at the back of the hand. Okay. Everybody look at the back of your right hand. And I want you to take your left hand and feel the furthest joint. This is the one closest to the fingernail. Okay. Touch that joint. So we want to make this a tactile memory, not just me telling you. That joint there, the one that's closest to the thumbnail, is mental.
Okay.
Okay. The middle one, go down to that one and touch that one. Can you guess what that one is?
Emotional.
Yeah, emotional. All right, think about it. The thing about the top of the finger, the fingernail bed being the head, that first joint is mental. The middle joint, what's the center of your body? The heart. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last joint, the third joint of the finger, which comes into the hand, which is the issue here, is what?
Body.
Physical.
Right. So to me, there has been a perception that you haven't been physically able to fully pull the trigger on creating your heart's desire.
Wow.
And now that you're moving out of that, sometimes when you start to move out of something, it can manifest as just a reminder to help you move through it. So to me, the hips have been there trying to point to part of that, because the hips in this instance would be opening up to your creative passion, the second chakra. So that's that opening of the legs to let the energy, not let somebody come in, but for that energy to come on down and out, come down on out. So here's all this great. So we were just speaking this whole thing before. Here's all these great ideas, these visuals, these words. You've been frustrated because every place you go to has been backwash in some way. Then you recently had this aha, things are finally moving, and you're like standing on the ground and creating it. And before it was like it's like the energy couldn't open up and come all the way down. Right. So to me, you're already moving through that, and what you can do to help that is work on that finger, and so so basically, I just said, what did I just give voice to? I gave voice. I asked question and answer. I gave voice to the program. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not able to manifest my heart's desire or pull the trigger and make physical what I want to do. Have you been feeling that?
I had until recently, yes.
Okay, but how long have you felt that before just recently?
I don't know, 30 years maybe?
Yeah, that's a lot of shit. That's what I'm trying to tell me, like, I just changed. No, that shit's been there a long time. You've been in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna throw another aspect in here, because I actually spoke to this at the beginning a little bit. The middle finger is the sexuality, right? And it's the masculine side. So the masculine side is the energy going out. The left side is the energy coming in. So this is you being potent in the world, not impotent. See the changing in the words? You can either be potent, powerful in the world, or you can be impotent. And then what you're doing is shooting a lot of blanks out into reality, and nothing's manifesting.
And this is exactly how we started this, was talking about if the coding has degraded, the Constitution has degraded, then we have to take the amendments off and let that once again be fully constitutional.
Yeah, and so what we're doing is, and to me, I mean, knowing the little bit that I've only known you maybe, 3 months now, but knowing the little bit that I know, a lot of this ties into the family, where it's, and, like you told me that you'd recently, you had this whole plan with the land out there, and that was taken away too. So again, that was that root connection of being able to bring it down into physical reality. So everywhere you were looking and turning, you were not being able to pull the trigger and make your heart's desire manifest. You were getting close, but not completely. Does that make sense?
So yeah, it's like my body just eventually just started attacking itself.
No, you got to take that language out. The body is not attacking you because it's the body. The body is simply manifesting where your amendments have been corrupted. So think about this. Imagine that the American Constitution was actually a being. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what do you think would happen if all of a sudden all these amendments start being made to that being?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the being?
It's going to fade.
Okay. Is the being attacking itself?
No, it's protecting itself.
It's reacting to the amendments, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Your
one of the
body.
things,
Go ahead.
well, one of the things that just popped into my head with all of this is, like, if you think of the body as being completely intact, and rather than amendment, I'm looking at this like an attachment, like, so these attachments on the body are what causes the disease or the pain or the whatever.
Right.
And are you doing something on the screen? Suddenly
I'm following your thought.
Huh?
I'm following your thought process. Keep going.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But it just seems to me like because what happens with, well, I've had a couple of breakthroughs in the last week, but what seems to be happening is it's like once I've identified, because you were the one that told me, ask the pain what it's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And so in doing that, what seems to be happening is I listen. And once I start listening and the pain starts explaining itself to me, then quickly it goes, some of those issues get resolved. And, it's like quickly, like, like, bam. Oh,
right.
That was an attachment that I just released or got rid of or unattached or whatever.
Right.
Or like with the amendment, I deleted it,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So when we're tapping on stuff, right, with the tapping or being conscious or using our wording by affirmations or whatever, that is working. That's a working to amend something. However, Julie, it is not separate at all. It is really ingrained. But this is the cool part.
Okay.
So here's the DNA. And let's say that you wrote some kind of thing into your DNA, or your parents did, or your preacher did, or your peers did, whatever. Something got wrote into your DNA, and whatever's on this rung, whatever function it relates to, is going to be altered and messed with. Okay. And think about the DNA. The DNA is quite literally a script. It is a script that is being read. Okay. Your DNA is a story. Okay. Look at this. DNA backwards is what?
And
you are the leading edge story of your ancestry. Okay. The story that was before you and the story that was added to it, and on and on and on. But it's not just like it's not like, let's take a book and you're reading a book. It's not like you write in the margin. It's like literally going in there, erasing lines or marking out lines and writing in our own stuff. That's why it affects us on such a strong level. But here's the cool thing: as soon as you get rid of it, then it can go away just as fast. I mean, literally just as fast. But it's important to realize that it's not outside of you. It is all an inside job. And the cool thing, and the reason I know that it is inside the DNA is because the DNA, I got the perfect picture too, is that it's the blueprint, okay? The DNA is the blueprint of how, so this is, ultimately, this should be the divine source code. You get what I'm getting at? And now the divine source code is the one that has been amended so many times. So if you really look, they even say that, we're supposed to have like 12 strands of DNA, that we're that altered kind of thing. So our job is to really undo those amendments that have been added to us and get back to our divinity, or maybe even upgrade. Maybe that's even the game that's afoot, is we don't go back to where we were before, but we even upgrade upon that. So if you study DNA, the DNA is inside the nucleus, and it's in every freaking cell, okay? And the DNA is an extremely long script because it is literally a story, okay? Imagine at some level it'd be awesome, and I played this with the Tron clip about Tron fixing in that movie, where he pulls out that circular disc and messes with the DNA and then puts it back on and her arm grows back. I could imagine someday that we're able to do that. But as we are now, we're looking at the echo, okay? We're looking, what I would say, the echo, aka frequency, that is being bounced back from our thoughts and feelings, which I showed earlier, going out and coming back into our world. So once you can track that down, you can say, oh, that's what that is. Now I can work to change that program, which changes the result. So whenever you're tapping and here's the thing, sometimes it just doesn't magically boom, okay? You have to kind of work at it. But either way, if you really stick with it, let's say there's some kind of amendment here, you can clear that to where there's actually healing coming from that. And that's epigenetics. Epigenetics proves that we can write and rewrite how our DNA operates. That's the bottom line of epigenetics. We affect how that works, not just by repeated actions, but repeated thoughts and feelings as well. So pain is your friend. That used to be in the name of my book, your body. So this thing that I'm sharing with you is something I wrote a while back, and it was originally called "Your Body is Your Friend." And it is. Your body is your vehicle of consciousness. And I don't buy into that whole thing that we're spiritual beings in a human experience, because that is duality. Where does that put spirit? Where does that put the physical? It separates them. We are in a spiritual vehicle. We've lost touch with that it's even spiritual by nature, right? The religion says basically the body is something we got to jump out. It's disgusting and sinful and all this. But all of that is rooted in our misunderstanding, not in truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that creativity coming out of that sexual chakra and creative chakra is really a catalyst, a manifestation catalyst, which is what all the tantric stuff is about. It helps, paired up with the throat chakra, the center of expression and creativity. I've enjoyed the vision board classes because it's like the most creative thing I'm doing, and it amazes me how releasing even a little bit of that catalyzes so much of your other life.
Yeah, because sometimes all you just need to do to start a change is bring yourself wiggle room, and wiggle room starts. I tell people all the time that enlightenment is not the end. Okay? Enlightenment means simply in awareness. Light is how you see things, right? Enlightenment is the first step. It's like an alcoholic, like, I'm an alcoholic. Okay, well, now you're enlightened to that. Now what the hell are you going to do? Right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
enlightenment is the first process. And then once and that's what's cool about the body is just highlighting for you what's up in your face right now.
So it's almost like the hip pain is like.
1 second. Sarah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's almost like the hip pain is like when you're getting ready to have a baby, your hips start moving around and you're having labor pains and nothing's coming out.
Ooh, good one, Sarah. So yeah, so she was ready to give birth, but nothing was moving, and then that energy's got to go somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So now,
I can totally see it.
So now with the visual, she can just simply, and she's already been doing stuff like this, and it's already moving, but just visualizing the energy going down the legs is a huge. Just a practice like that can help things start moving again. But here's okay. Well, I'm going to go back to how did I say that? Sometimes I forget. Feeling unable to pull the trigger, which is just a phrase or catchphrase for being able to take action on creating the heart's desire. So the best thing to do here, Teresa, is give me a proclamation or a decree to replace that. We want to replace the bad script in here. So let me bring this a little more to home. Okay. All right, let's just say, this is probably pretty close, that along the way, your experience has led you to this script, okay? I will never be able to fully manifest my heart's true desire in my physical world, okay?
Okay.
Now imagine that is in your DNA. And here's the thing, is all of these decrees, all of these declarations, all these affirmations that we create unconsciously manifest in the body as resonance. So I found that simply from her right middle finger, dudes.
Yep.
That's how it works. That's freaking it. That's all she gave me, man. Okay? That's because the body is a divinely created thing. So even though it's been corrupted with our amendments, and a shitload of them, we can still understand what it's trying to say to us, okay? So now that you have this, it's like the most important thing you can do is, and I want Teresa to do this, I can do it for you, but I've found that more and more it's better to let the person come up with it. Teresa, I want you to look at that. I will never be able to manifest my heart's true desire in my physical world, which, can you feel that you've been running up against that?
Of course.
In the past. Okay. Now I want you to do a declaration that is the opposite of that to nullify that. Does that make sense?
Well, I'll just take out the word never. I will be able to fully manifest my heart's true desire in my physical world.
Good one. I love that. Okay. Now let's upgrade it even more. Okay. Because you know what? That right there will start your system to operating better, okay? But let's not just stop there. How about we start doing quantum? This is where the quantum reality comes in, okay? We can do that, and then your system's going to go, okay, I'm going to plot my path to the moon. It's going to take this mathematics. It's going to take this long to happen. Or we can quantum physics it, which means anything is possible, and all I got to do is snap my fingers, and I'm there. How about...
Yeah.
Instead of I will, is will present or is it in the future?
It's in the future.
Okay, give me a word that would replace that, which now means now or present.
I have fully manifested my heart's true desire in my physical world.
Yeah, so we're taking be able to, I have fully, so there's the second upgrade. I have fully manifested my heart's true desire in my physical world. That's pretty rocking compared to what you have been saying.
I like that. I have fully manifested my heart's true desire in my physical world.
All right, does anybody else see any other aspect of upgrade? Or does that feel good?
Feels good to me.
How about this?
Oh. I have.
Yes.
Continue.
What happens to the heart's desire? So once your heart's desire has been met, and it's going to happen fast, your heart's desire is going to go to the next best thing, right? So let's not just stop with getting what you want now, because the upgrade is going to continue. You want to keep up with it. I have and continue to fully manifest my heart's true desire in my physical world.
That's awesome.
And you make it personal. That's why my is in here, okay? And your world doesn't necessarily mean my world. So it needs to be my world, my heart. That's pretty good. I'd really work with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
let me write that down.
Okay. And now I'm going to ask, what meridian would you work? What meridian would you work with regarding this?
I would think starting with your kidney meridian.
No.
No?
Your body's already told you.
Pericardium.
Oh, the pericardium. Duh.
And the pericardium surrounds what?
The heart.
The heart.
The heart, dude. The freaking heart.
Wow. Wow.
This stuff is so cool.
So your pericardium, okay, this is, in Chinese medicine, the heart is the emperor. Oh, look at my spelling. Or empress. I'll just make up bad words. Okay, empress, okay. What? Is that right? Anyway, okay, and the pericardium is the wall, and it's literally a wall that surrounds the, in your case, empress. Am I saying that right?
Empress. Yeah.
Okay. So it's, let me draw again. Move that away. Come. Now, the next level I'm going to show you is going to take it even to a deeper level, because the more levels that y'all see, the more you really begin to grok and understand it. So here's the heart, okay? And you literally have a sac that surrounds the heart, not like this. I'm just giving you an example. This surrounds the heart, and it's made of very strong tissue, body tissue. And that thing can be rigid, or it can be way too soft, depending on how we've been, right? So according to Teresa's old declaration that was in her DNA, do you think that wall was soft, or do you think it was hard?
Very hard.
Yes, her heart was unable to get out into the world and plant roots.
Yep.
And quite literally, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
And quite literally, when that wall is really very stiff, which it can happen, then what happens is the heart doesn't have enough room to move and be free. So tap your right pericardium and finger and proclaim that as if you truly feel it and already have it. I have. Let's all do it right now. Take your left hand, doesn't matter which finger, tap the right middle fingernail, and then say aloud, I have and continue to fully manifest.
I have and continue to fully manifest
my heart's true desire in my physical world.
In my physical
My
world.
heart's true desire in the physical world.
Perfect. So I would keep working.
I like it.
Keep doing
I
it.
have and continue to fully manifest my heart's true desire in my physical world.
And what happens?
And you know what? It was hurting. I had a lot of massages today, and it was hurting. That's why I threw that out there so fast. And you know, the pain